Hello, everyone, and welcome to the webinar. Thank you so much for joining us. I cannot wait to dive into the content that we have for you today. You are all in for a big treat. We have a really great event planned, and we have not one but two experts with us today, and we're going to give you an in-depth look at the latest technology from LocaliQ. So welcome everyone on the call. For folks who have already joined us, we'll get started shortly. I just want to give people another couple of minutes to hop on and get situated. For those who are already here, I do want to make sure that you are able to use the GoToWebinar question box feature. It's within that GoToWebinar panel over to the side. That question box feature is essentially going to be your chat feature for today, so that you'll be able to put in any questions that you have into that box. That's how you'll be able to communicate with me and with any of our experts today. So to get us all started and acquainted, I'd love for you to type into the question box. Go ahead and find it. Say hello. Let me know where you're calling in from today. One of the coolest things about these events that we do is that they connect folks from all different corners of the country and even the world. And it's just really neat because we're all here for one common goal, and that's to improve our marketing, to better our businesses. And so just to be from such varied backgrounds and varied places and to still be here for that one goal, it's kind of neat that we're all here for this one time. So I'll call out some of the responses as they come in. I just want to see who we have on the call today, where you're calling in from. For example, I am from Louisiana. I'm based out of North Louisiana, so it's basically Texas. I was born and raised here. So let me know where you are coming from. All right, let's see. Oh, I see a bunch of responses. I see a neighbor who is also in Louisiana. That's exciting. I see California, Illinois. Awesome. I see a lot of East Coast. It is really great to have you guys. Lots of stuff coming in. It looks like everyone is coming in from all over the place. Las Vegas. I see some other Southerners. I see Houston. I see Mississippi. Welcome. Some of our friends, good to see you. Good deal. Arizona, that's fantastic. We were chit-chatting about the weather before we got started, and around here it finally got cool, so we were really excited. And for us this time of year, cool is 60 degrees, so we were pumped about that. Great to have someone from Georgia. Good to have you. All right, wonderful. So go ahead, test out that question box, say hello, keep responding, let me know where you're from. Tons of people are responding right now, and that's awesome, because what's neat about that is people are, again, from all over the place, and we're all here for that one goal, to show up for our marketing. All right, so on the next slide, what we're going to go over today is just a couple of housekeeping items before we jump in. So for everybody on the call, note that this will be recorded. You don't have to worry about taking notes or furiously copying anything down. You'll get all the materials in your inbox soon after the event. And that includes a copy of the slide and then, of course, the recording. So note, all of our webinar recordings are actually really easily found on WordStream or LocaliQ YouTube channels. So if you just navigate to YouTube, you can type in LocaliQ or WordStream, click on one of our channels, and you'll be able to see all of our past webinar recordings right there. So if you want to catch up on any of our old ones, we cover a ton of different topics, or you want to view this one again, you can find it there later on. So also the reason why I really like having you engage with that question box and practice using it is because I want everyone to feel really comfortable typing your questions in there throughout the webinar. So that is what is going to be part of our Q&A later. I would really encourage you to stick around for that, because you can get a lot of really specific questions answered, and maybe you'll be able to get a better understanding of the topics that we talked about today. Again, not one, but two digital experts that are here today for the live demo, as well as our Q&A session later on in the event. And if you've attended any of our webinars in the past, you know the Q&A sessions are really unique, and just be sure to have your questions ready for us. All right, so before we go any further, let's all get on the same page as to who LocaliQ is. Some of you might already be working with us, and that's really exciting. That's wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. And then some of you might be totally new, and that's fine too. Others may be familiar with us through our thought leadership brand WordStream by LocaliQ. So how exactly does all of that fit together? Well, we're all LocaliQ. We're a fully integrated marketing platform that marries innovative tech that you can't find anywhere else and unparalleled expertise and service to give your business what it needs to thrive and prosper. So how exactly do we help small businesses prosper? Well, technology is at our core. Our platform runs on optimization technology and AI, informed by data from 1 million+ LocaliQ campaigns. So this means you're not going to find it anywhere else. And we've got all the tools you need in one place. We give you the tools at your fingertips to make daily tasks of marketing a lot faster. This puts time back into your day so you can focus on the things that you probably care more about, like managing your business or managing your team, rather than focusing your attention on all that marketing requires. And then finally, we have been in the marketing game for over 15 years, which, if you think about the age of digital marketing, is really not much older than that. So we've been around for a while. We've seen it all, and we've lived through it all the ups and downs, the shifts in the landscape, and all the platforms. And we're here to tell that story to the benefit of your business. And then one final thing that we're really proud of is that we are premier partners with all major advertising platforms. And this isn't something that is granted to any marketing platform out there. It's really only given to businesses that display clear campaign success for their customers, display thought leadership within the field, and meet a rigorous set of requirements for each of the platforms listed. All right, so next up, I'm going to ask our expert guests to pop on and introduce themselves. Paul?
Thanks, Katie. Good afternoon, everyone. I just want to start off by thanking everyone for taking the time out of their busy day to join our webinar today. My name is Paul Kowalczyk. I am the Regional Sales Director here at LocaliQ. I manage our Northeast sales team of digital marketing consultants. I've been with LocaliQ for the last 10.5 years. I've been evolving within the digital marketing industry for over 15 years. I am based in Milford, Connecticut. I live here with my wife, Danielle, our 2 sons, Cameron and Joey, and our dog, Hampton. One interesting but probably boring fact is that I really never lived outside of Connecticut. I grew up in Darien, Connecticut. I went to the University of Connecticut in Storrs, go Huskies, and I decided to buy a house in Milford and raise our family here in Milford, Connecticut. So interesting, but I'm sure very boring to a lot of other folks on the call. With that being said, I will pass it over to Stephanie to introduce herself.
Hi, everybody. I'm Stephanie Azrimbetov, and I am a senior director here at LocaliQ, in charge of product development with a focus on product enablement. I have over 21 years experience in digital marketing and been focused on product development within this org for the last almost 15 years. So I live in Texas. It's, we're enjoying a cool reprieve today. We've got some unusually cool weather, which feels amazing. And I would say that also probably like a lot of people in today's world, and especially after COVID, my love and passion for traveling has really amplified, and I just love going to explore new places in the world, and especially immersing myself in other cultures and meeting new people. And I'm excited to be here with you guys today.
All right, thanks you guys. So we pulled out the big guns for everyone. So before I go ahead and get started and officially hand it over to Paul, I wanted to go over just a couple more things. These are really common questions that we typically get with our events. So where can you learn more about the topics that we covered here? I'm not gonna lie, this time is gonna go super fast. It's gonna go by quickly, and we're gonna cover a bunch of stuff. So if you ever feel like you need to sit a little bit more with a topic or maybe dive in a little deeper, you can head on over to LocaliQ or WordStream websites, where we have a ton of blog posts all about these various topics. We cover everything in these webinars in depth over there, as well as on social media, so be sure to follow us. We share out notifications for future events, so if you want to join more webinars like this in the future, definitely be sure to follow us and turn on your post notifications. We also share out platform updates, interesting articles, and all sorts of tidbits that you, advertisers, marketers, agency owners, business owners should be aware of. So you can find LocaliQ on LinkedIn, Instagram, Facebook, X, and YouTube. And you can find WordStream on LinkedIn, X, Facebook, and YouTube. All right, so one final thing, if you've attended our webinars in the past, we love to keep listeners on their toes around here. So it's time for a little pop quiz. So I want you to type into that question box. That's my sneaky reason for getting you guys acquainted with the question box, is what marketing channels do you feel help you find your target audience the best? And when I say the best, I don't mean maybe the most conversions, because I think that those come with different costs and can be different based on the goals of your business. Think more holistically around channels. Which ones allow you to be able to pinpoint your audience, or maybe this is where your audience spends the most time. Think of places like organic social, paid social ads, search ads, SEO, video, email. There's traditional media, and maybe probably something I haven't even named yet you guys have been using. So if you have tried it, did it work? Did it not work? What was your experience? I'll call out some of the responses here, but I just want to get a quick pulse check on where everyone is with what we're going to be talking about today. So I see several LinkedIns. I think that that's really great. I know B2Bs have a great time with that. Recruiting has a really good time with LinkedIn. It's just a really good asset, and the targeting options are really great. Google, Facebook, Instagram, the basics, right? That makes sense. And every publisher is getting a little bit better and a little more targeted in what they're allowing you to do, to take a look at your audience. So there's a lot of like direct publisher benefits to that. We're going to go over some of those benefits today, but then also just the technology that allows you to do all of that without having to go to the individual publishers, because I see a ton of people coming in with a lot of the same answers. You know, there are a ton of channels out there, but really there's the main ones that everybody is using. So you're not alone in what you're trying to tackle. And we're here to help you do that maybe a little more effectively today. All right, so I wish that I could call everybody out, but I want to make sure that we have enough time to go over all the great information from Paul and that we're able to get a ton of questions answered by Paul and Stephanie. So let's go ahead and let's get started. Paul, take it away.
Thanks, Katie. Appreciate it. So agenda for today's webinar. First, we're going to talk a little bit about some of the common problems we see with digital marketing. Then we're going to go and talk a little bit more about LocaliQ's newest innovative solve, which is our Brand Amplifier solution. We're going to jump into a live demo and show you a couple examples around some audiences that we're able to target for different types of verticals. And then we'll open it up for some Q&A. So as we're going through this webinar and this presentation, to Katie's point, please feel free to drop any questions that you have in chat, and we'll be happy to try to answer those at the end when we have some time to do so. So again, starting off, let's talk a little bit around some of the common problems we hear from clients, prospective clients, other marketers in the industry, and things that have really come up recently as we're meeting with different types of businesses. So as we all know, the digital landscape is really fragmented. It has become truly complex, and I'm sure you could agree with your own digital journeys as you're looking for businesses, products, services, solutions, whatever it may be. There's a lot of different places that you could turn to online. From a search engine standpoint, there's Google, there's Yahoo, Bing. Believe it or not, some folks still use AOL. There's a newer search engine, DuckDuckGo, that's getting a ton of traction and almost looks identical to Google's search engine results page. Then there's Yelp, traditionally known as a review site, which is actually now starting to pick up a lot more traction when it comes to folks actually using it as a search engine to find certain types of businesses. Then when you talk about social media platforms, you know, in the past it was Facebook, then Instagram, then there's X, there's Snapchat. A big one I'm sure we're all using daily, or at least hearing on a daily basis about, is TikTok. Then there's Truth and other smaller social networks out there. Then when we think about just the website landscape, right, there's news sites, Fox, NBC, ABC, CNN, and many others. There's entertainment sites. There's blogs out there. There's sports sites like ESPN, Yahoo Sports, USA Today Sports, and many others. And then even outside a website today, a lot of us use apps, and we all have those little chiclets on our smartphone, and I'm sure we're downloading new apps every single week. And whether you're using that to get your news, your weather, using it when you're pulling up to a Starbucks or a Dunkin' Donuts to pay for things, looking at sports or things like that. There are so many apps out there, and just another opportunity for us as business owners to have to think about, how do we advertise? How do we get in front of the users using all these different publishers and websites and blogs, social media platforms and search engines, right? And so these questions come up in almost every meeting that we have. How do you decide which channels are relevant for your business? What's the right mix of spend? You know, if I'm running a Facebook campaign, how much budget should I put towards that versus a search engine marketing campaign versus maybe a campaign on TikTok? And it could get complicated from a business owner standpoint or a marketer standpoint to know what the right budget is, at what time of the day, the week, the month, should I be advertising on these platforms? Should I be running an annual campaign on these platforms? How do I take care of and worry about seasonality or flighted campaigns and things like that? And so as we met internally with our sales team, our product team, our developers and other teams within internally, and we started to talk about these challenges, it really opened up our eyes to an opportunity. And that's really where this new solution type came together. And that's called Brand Amplifier, right? This is LocaliQ's newest innovative solution. And at a high level, what Brand Amplifier allows us to do is build a hyper-targeted audience based on your actual ideal customer profile. And then we're able to take that audience as the core of our campaign and promote your ads as a business, your services, your products, your solutions to this highly targeted audience, helping us eliminate waste within your marketing budget, knowing that we're getting your ads in front of the right person at the right time of day, no matter what website they're going to, no matter if it's Facebook or Instagram that they're using, maybe it's YouTube that they're using. Also an opportunity to get in front of them within their email inbox as well. And we're going to talk a little bit more about how this solution works as we go through the next few slides. But ultimately, what it allows us to do is break down the walls within these siloed campaigns that traditionally we run as marketers and a marketing agency for our clients, and now allow us to run one campaign, one budget, and share the performance and data metrics that we're gathering from our social ads campaign, with our targeted display campaign, with our YouTube campaign. And instead of running them as silos, we're now able to look at that data and cross-optimize across this one campaign type on all of these different publishers. And not only publishers, but also across all of these different creative types, right? We may be running static ads. We might have carousel ads. We might have video ads. We might have OTT, CTV commercial ads and things like that. And so it's important to be able to, again, utilize a platform and technology to be able to optimize and understand what's working and where should my budget be going towards to help my business amplify its brand. So let's talk about where it all starts. It really starts with building that highly targeted audience. And just in the next 2 or 3 slides, I'm actually going to pop out and go into our actual targeted email marketing database tool to show you a couple real life examples of how we come up with this target audience. But the reality is, here at LocaliQ, part of the USA Today network, we have access to over 120 million consumer and business email addresses. Not only do we have access to these emails, but we also have access to their household addresses, which again allows us to target a highly specific type of customer that makes sense for your business. And so when we look at the targeting criteria, this is just a few options high level. The reality is there's hundreds of different targeting options when it comes to who we want to target and what type of audience we want to build out geographically, based on demographics, various interests and lifestyles, and even more than we're seeing here. If you haven't had a chance to see our targeted email marketing database catalog yet, please reach out to your digital marketing consultant, reach out to us after this call, let us know, and we'd be happy to share. It's probably about 12, 15 pages left with all different types of targeting criteria that you could truly highlight and choose what you want to choose to start to build out that audience. And again, we're going to go through a demo so you actually get a real life example of what that looks like. So going back to our brand amplifier solution, right? If you look at the image on the right-hand side, it really starts with that ideal core audience of who you want to target based on the geography, the demographics, the behaviors, the interests, etc. Then we have our XMO technology layered in, and on the next slide, we'll talk a little bit about what that does and how that really helps optimize this campaign across all of these different publishers. But the publishers and inventory that's included in this campaign, it includes target email marketing. So we could actually get in front of your ideal customer profile within a specific geography, within their inbox, on their mobile phone or on their desktop, as they're going into their Gmail email account. There's an opportunity for us to get your brand in front of them right within that inbox. It also includes Facebook and Instagram, right? As people are going there and scrolling through their newsfeed and seeing what their family and friends are doing, there's an opportunity again for us to target that individual and get an ad for your business in front of them, because that is the ideal audience you want to target. There's programmatic display advertising, right? Thousands and thousands and thousands of websites and blog sites. Again, we don't care which website that ideal audience is going to. What matters more to us is that we have the ability to bid in real time to get your static ad, your video ad, whatever it may be, in front of that user, because we know that is your ideal customer. And the same goes for YouTube as well. So let's talk a little bit about the technology itself. Our XMO technology, also known as cross-media optimization, allows us to take all those publishers that we just talked about within one campaign and one budget, and allows the technology to, in real time, see what publishers, what ad creative is actually generating high engagement for your brand versus what publishers or platforms maybe aren't generating as much engagement. So if you think about it, like I mentioned a slide or two ago, by running a siloed campaign on Facebook, that's going to be separate than YouTube versus separate in targeted display. Within this campaign, we're not guessing how much budget should go towards each platform or each tactic. The technology is truly shifting around your budget in real time, dynamically, into those publishers, into those creative types, into those geographies that we're seeing actually working from an engagement standpoint. So I'm going to pause here for a moment, and I'm actually going to back out and go into a real live demo here directly from our count tool. And I'm going to go through 3 scenarios just to show you kind of what our reach and what our audience capabilities are. So let's say for the purpose of this webinar and for this demo, you're a swimming pool company in Connecticut. Of course, I picked that. I live in Connecticut. I love Connecticut. So let's say we want to target Fairfield County in Connecticut, and we want to target New Haven County in Connecticut. Now, as a swimming pool business owner, I want to target a specific type of person, right? I want to make sure the folks within Fairfield and New Haven counties are homeowners. I probably won't get a lot of business from renters, so I want to ensure they own their home. Then I want to take it a step further, and we have the ability to make sure that they actually have a swimming pool on their property. So I want to go ahead and select pool owner as well. Then, as I'm thinking about all the different selections that I have available to myself, I want to make sure that person that I'm targeting actually makes and has enough money to use my services, whether it might be a pool service campaign to take care of their swimming pool throughout the season, or maybe a pool heater campaign promoting pool heaters and the benefits of having one at your home. So I want to make sure I'm targeting folks that have at least $100,000 in household income or above. And so after I make those selections, it's as easy as that. I have all my selected criteria here on the bottom right. I'm going to hit Get Count. And within a matter of seconds, I or your digital marketing consultant can do this on your behalf to give you an idea based on your own business and your own geographies that you typically target, how many actual users we have access to email addresses in that geography. So for this instance, in the swimming pool company example, we have access to 45,237 consumer email addresses and household addresses within Fairfield County and New Haven County in Connecticut. which is a super healthy audience size for us to now utilize within our Brand Amplifier campaign to target them with ads for your swimming pool company. And we'll talk in a few slides a little bit more about how the whole solution actually works. But just from an example standpoint, that's a great audience size. So let's do two more. Let's say I am a college or university and I am interested in targeting folks in New York State. I could go ahead and select New York. And let's say I want to target folks by their age. So let's say an age that I typically target is 18 to 30. So we'll plug that in. And then we're going to go under education levels. We don't want to target folks with college degrees or who are already college students, but we do want to target those folks who have an interest in continuing education, or those who have a high school diploma or GED already, right? And then take it one step further. Let's say as a college or university, you want to only target those who maybe have a household income of, let's say, under $70,000 a year. So once we plug those metrics in, we'll go ahead and get a count for this college or university in the state of New York to, again, give them an idea of the vast audience that we have within our database here at LocaliQ to be able to target through our Brand Amplifier campaign. And look at that, 590,000 emails and household addresses tied to people who meet this criteria. Again, highly targeted for this school and a very attractive audience to now start to saturate with frequency through your ads. The last one, let's say we're a med spa, and let's say we are in Orange County, California. So I'll go in and choose Orange County, California. I will then go to selections, and let's say from an individual standpoint, as a med spa owner, you want to target those who are 25 to 65 years old. And then from a gender standpoint, we want to target females because that's primarily our typical customer at our med spa. And then we want to go in and add some household income levels, right? We want to make sure that these folks have enough money to pay for our services. So we're going to go in and layer and stick with the 100,000 plus in household income. And then for the med spa, you know, I think there's certain interests when it comes to an audience and who we're looking to target. And so we're going to go into our interests and we're going to target folks who have an active lifestyle. We're going to target those who have an interest in beauty and cosmetics, dieting and weight loss, fashion and apparel, and health and fitness. And we're going to go ahead and again for this med spa get a count to see how many emails and addresses within Orange County, California we have access to. And that number, drum roll, is 252,789 unique emails and addresses to individuals that fit this criteria. I don't know any other way to get this targeted in a specific geography when it comes to targeting folks within your marketing campaigns using your marketing budget. So I'm going to go back into the slides and go over how the solution really works. Give me a moment here. Perfect. So you should be back at the slide deck here, and we're going to move forward. So let's pretend on the left-hand side there of your screen, that group of individuals is that audience of 250,000 females aged 25 to 65 in Orange County. They have a household income of $100,000 or more with an interest in fashion, health and wellness, beauty, and fitness. And then we have Jamie, right? She's one of those 250,000 users in Orange County. Well, this is an example of what Jamie's digital journey looks like throughout a month. Day one, she's checking her email. Day three, she's seeing what her family and friends are doing on Facebook. Day seven, she's looking at properties on Zillow, thinking about buying a home. Day nine, she's researching cosmetic or surgeons in the area, thinking about a procedure she may want to have done, and so on. The reality is, I know I personally, and probably a lot of folks on this call, probably go through 5 to 10 of these touch points in any given day. I know when I wake up and throughout the day, I'm checking my email probably 50 to 100 times a day. I'm going on Facebook and Instagram a few times a day to see what my family and friends are doing. I'm going on LinkedIn to see what my professional network's doing and what they're posting. And then I'm probably going to a parenting blog site to learn how to help with parenting skills for my 3- and 5-year-old. And so I do that at least once a day, but really every day of the week and the month. So again, when you think about how fragmented the digital landscape is today and how many different publishers and websites and apps and social media platforms there are for one person to utilize in a given day, a given week, a given month, it's challenging for a business owner, a marketing director, a marketing professional to understand, how am I going to utilize my marketing budget and still get visibility for my business across all of these places. It's difficult, but at the end of the day, it's also important, and you need to have some sort of presence across these platforms so that your business is in front of your potential customers. Otherwise, you're going to lose out on business. So let's talk in a little more detail around how this solution actually works. I'm someone who really believes in educating folks around how things work, the ins and outs, so you'll have a full understanding around the type of campaign we're talking to you about, how the different components work, and then more importantly, we'll also talk about kind of expectations, right? What do we report on? What does success look like? And we're going to talk and showcase some reporting metrics as well after we get through the actual solution itself. So what does Brand Amplifier mean? What does it do? What's the solution? So when we launch and put together a Brand Amplifier campaign, it's going to start with that targeted email marketing database. And so let's stick with that med spa example in Orange County with about a 250,000 audience for potential customers in Orange County that fit all the criteria we discussed. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to send an initial email to that audience of 250,000 people. It's going to be a targeted email marketing campaign. It's going to be an HTML email promoting your business and all the services that your med spa offer. That's going to go out in an initial send, and then a few weeks later, we're going to send a follow-up. We know not every person that gets a marketing email in their inbox is going to open it. It does help with brand recognition. When they do open it and interact with the various call to actions, sending traffic to your website, that's a positive, right? They're now interacting with your business, with your storefront online. And then a few weeks later, when we send that reminder, we may change up the subject line just to entice people to open it up for those who haven't, to again, get you more visibility, more exposure, and try to amplify your brand within a potential customer's email inbox. So that's a targeted email marketing component. Now, within the same campaign, we're now going to be running on different types of publishers and websites. So the first is a targeted display or programmatic display campaign. This gives us the opportunity to purchase in real time, add inventory to get your ads in front of that target audience of 250,000 users that we came up with. And the way we do that is through geofence technology. We literally draw an invisible fence around all 250,000 homes in Orange County. So when Jamie's sitting in her home and she's either on her desktop, her laptop, her tablet, or her smartphone, we are in real time buying inventory to get your ad in front of her, whether it's a static ad, an animated ad, or even a video ad. And that's powerful because, again, we know that Jamie lives in one of those 250,000 homes, and we are only targeting the consumers or potential consumers for your business within their actual household. Creepy, yes, but again, eliminating all the waste from your marketing budget and targeting a highly targeted audience that you, as a business owner or a med spa owner in this case, would want to get in front of. Within that same programmatic display campaign, I'm sure a lot of us have heard over the years this idea of cutting the cord, right? Families, households are breaking ties with their expensive cable companies, and they're moving to streaming TV services. Whether it's a Fire Stick, a Roku, you could stream through your PlayStation or your Xbox or another streaming service. There is a lot of opportunity to get your commercial in front of that potential customer within their household when they're utilizing a streaming TV platform. And so there's an opportunity through our OTT and CTV inventory to bid in real time to be able to show your TV ad as those potential consumers are consuming media and watching their regular shows throughout the day or in the evenings as a family. Again, highly targeted and getting your TV ad in front of them across those streaming platforms. So that's targeted display. We've gone over 2 tactics so far. There's targeted email marketing, sending out the initial email blast, the reminder email, and then programmatic display across hundreds of thousands of websites and blogs and even app inventory. And again, not caring what website they are, what blog they are, if that user within that household is on there, we want to have an opportunity to buy that inventory and get your ad in front of them. The next place, YouTube. For those of you who don't know, YouTube is the second most used search engine behind Google. It is owned by Google as well. And so YouTube is a place that we want to make sure and ensure your brand has visibility. A lot of consumers go to YouTube to watch music videos, to see reviews on the latest high-end cars that are out there that people are doing reviews, seeing patient testimonials around procedures that they had done or physicians they interacted with, and so on, or do-it-yourselfers that want to fix something within their house and turn to YouTube to see what others have done and how they solve the issue. Whatever it is, there's a huge opportunity, right? Billions of views on a monthly basis on YouTube occur. And so there's an opportunity, whether it's pre-roll, when that one of those 250,000 potential clients from that core audience go to YouTube to watch some sort of content. There's an opportunity to serve your ad pre-roll before they even get to the content that they went there to watch, or mid-roll, right? As they're watching the content they went there to watch, there's a break for an ad in the middle of that content, and it's an opportunity, again, showcase your business, your med spa in front of Jamie because she's utilizing YouTube. And the way that we do this is we take that core targeted email marketing audience of 250,000 emails and household addresses, we upload them to YouTube, and we match to as many of those folks who actually use YouTube in Orange County while we're running this campaign. In addition to that, we're trying to add an additional audience to the mix. So we set up a secondary ad group as well, which we take the same targeting parameters, the criteria that we selected, the 25 to 65-year-old female, household income 100K plus, with all the various interests, and we set up a secondary ad group. Because quite honestly, we don't have reach to every single consumer in Orange County who meets that criteria. 250,000 is a huge pool of those, but there's going to be more. And so if other folks that meet that criteria and that demographic, that behavior, that interest, go to YouTube in Orange County, it gives our advertisers an opportunity to showcase their ad to that person because they fit the original criteria of that user that we initially want to target from our targeted email marketing database. So moving on to the last piece of this brand amplifier solution, it's Meta, right? And that's going to be Facebook and Instagram. So the way that we utilize Facebook and Instagram is, again, we're taking that 250,000 targeted email marketing database, we're uploading it to Facebook and Instagram's platform, and we're trying to match as many of those folks that are going to these two platforms within Orange County to see what their family and friends are doing within their newsfeed. That allows us to show your ad, whether it's static, a carousel ad, a video ad, or a combination of those ads for your med spa, for your business. It also, in addition to that, we also set up two additional ad groups, a second being a lookalike audience. So based on that initial TEM audience, anyone that's interacting with your ad, engaging with it, engaging with your Facebook or Instagram profile, or even with your website, we're now building a lookalike profile to try to model and get in front of other users in Orange County that look similar to that TEM audience that we started with. And then the third ad group that we set up on Meta is the same thing as we did on YouTube, right? We're taking those exact demographic, behavior, and interest criteria, and as many of them that we can match up on Facebook and Instagram, we put those selections in there. We target Orange County. So again, if there are folks on Facebook and Instagram that weren't in that initial 250,000 audience pool that we wanted to target, we're now giving our advertisers an opportunity to get in front of even more folks that fit their target customer profile on Facebook and Instagram within their target geography. So hopefully now, after going through that, you have a better understanding of how this works, right? The reality is we're trying to move away from those siloed campaigns on each publisher and utilize our technology to be able to cross-optimize and shift your budget in real time into the publishers, the platforms, the creative types that are actually driving meaningful engagement for your business, for your marketing campaign, driving the best performance that we can, eliminating waste in your marketing budget and spend, right? And that's how we're going to be able to amplify your brand across all of these platforms and publishers. So let's talk a little bit about what success looks like, or what type of metrics are we reporting on, right? What happens after I run this campaign? Well, after you run this for 30, 60, 90 days, we're measuring results. And there's 3 buckets that we look at. The first being engagement, right? The platform is designed to shift budget into ads that are actually driving engagement for your business. So what does engagement mean? Things like impressions, email engagement like opens and click-throughs on the HTML email to your website, media engagements, which could mean walk-ins coming from those addressable geofencing households that we're targeting. We could actually track walk-ins. If you have a physical location in the area, we could tell you how many of those folks saw your ad and then actually walked into your business. Right? That's pretty amazing. We're looking at things like video views, form submissions, and page views. Then we look at brand impact, and this is where we rely on our clients as well, and working in our partnership to look at their GA4 reporting, look at their Google Search Console data. When you're running a brand amplifier campaign, the idea is branding, right? Getting enough frequency in front of that core audience that we pulled from our TEM database to make an impact for your brand, to make an impact for the solutions, the services, the products that you sell. And so ultimately, when you're doing all this top and mid-level funnel advertising, it should result in a lift in website traffic. That's typically through organic site traffic, direct site traffic, could be also complementing your paid search campaign through your brand campaign if you have one running, through your Google My Business listing as well, and other sources of traffic that are generating more visits to your website. And then lastly is ROI, right? This is not a huge direct last click driver of direct conversions and sales and business. It ultimately, again, tries to amplify your brand and helps from a branding standpoint to help power other search campaigns, other social campaigns, or other things you're doing that are more lower funnel and conversion drivers. But there is an actual ROI aspect to this campaign, and that's utilizing our TEM matchback reporting. So let's say after running a 90-day campaign, you may provide us with your CRM data, and then we're going to match that data that shows the emails, the names, the addresses, and the revenue associated with those new customers you acquire. And we're going to look at it and compare it to the list that we actually sent out to. And we're actually going to be able to provide you with a matchback reporting to help you determine what type of ROI actually came from this. But keep in mind, the idea behind Brand Amplifier a lot of times is to help create the awareness, the buzz around your brand, your company, what you do, what you offer, and then help also elevate more conversions and sales and business from assisted conversions coming from other sources of traffic and other lower conversion marketing campaigns. So the next few slides to close it out, I'm just going to go over a couple screenshots of a reporting example here. Again, truly focused on that engagement, brand impact, ROI. On page 1, you're going to see that we really highlight the audience details. That's at the core of this campaign, right? We talk as a partnership, as a client and a consultant about who your ideal customer is, and we figure out what that audience size looks like. In this instance, you can see the original audience size from the TEM database was 155,702 emails and addresses. You could see we also generated an additional 83,394 lookalike audience, right? That's from the lookalike audience that we enabled from the Facebook campaign. It's also from the additional audiences and ad groups we added to the YouTube campaign and to the Facebook and Instagram campaign. So in reality, that original 155,000 and change audience actually turned into a total amplified audience of 239,096 individuals, which is a big number if you're a local, regional, even national business. Then when you go through the next few pages, we're looking at things like engagement details, right? We had 2.1 million total impressions over the last 90 days with 115,000 engagements with your ads. Then when you look at the engagement breakdown underneath, well, a piece of that was emails, right? So we sent out 155,702 emails to that audience. We had just over 17,000 opens on those emails, and we had just over 3,100 clicks to the website from the various call to actions within that HTML email, which is a huge success, right? Driving visibility for your business, having that consumer, potential consumer, interacting with the different call to actions with that email, and then engaging them with your storefront, essentially your website online. Then when we break down the media engagement, we're looking at things like ad clicks, walk-ins from the addressable geofencing campaign, something that's called view through site visits. Someone may see your ad, not necessarily click on it, but then come to your website through organic or direct site traffic. And we're able to track the number of folks that have actually seen your ad, and then we know that led to a visit through another source of traffic to the site. We're looking at video views. Video is king, right? We need to make sure that we're utilizing video creative components within this campaign, in addition to static and carousel and other types of ad formats that are available to us. We want to make sure that we're utilizing every single type of creative aspect to give us the highest likelihood of being able to bid in real time and get your ad in front of that highly targeted audience. Then we look at priority page view, and then form submissions if there are direct form submissions coming in through the campaign. We're looking at brand impact, and this to me is a big one, right? Again, when you're running a big brand marketing campaign, an awareness effort and focus, you should naturally see a lift in brand search. You should naturally see, whether it's the last 90 days or year over year, an increase, right? And so in this instance, we're seeing a 10% increase in branded searches over the last 90 days and a 35% increase in branded searches year over year. And that's data that we'll actually pull out of your GA4 account, which is tied to your website, and also looking in Google Search Console. That's where we get that data and information from. So it's important that it's set up properly from the start so we can pull the right data and be able to report on it. We're also looking at site traffic, right? Another metric we get out of GA4. And we're looking in this instance, a 10% increase in direct and organic traffic the last 90 days, and a 19% increase over year. Those are huge numbers, right? A big lift in traffic, again, because of the impact that the campaign's having. We also look at things like Google listings, Google My Business listings. And from there, you could see how many people actually click to the website from your business listing, how many people click to call the business, how many people click for driving directions from that directory listing to get to your business. And so we're reporting and looking at those metrics as well. And then lastly, match back details, right? This is where from that targeting email marketing campaign and send, we're able to take your CRM data, stack it up against the actual TEMs, those emails that we sent the email out to, and be able to match up and confirm, yeah, X number of sales actually came from that list. And based on your revenue numbers, it generated $33,000 in revenue for your business over the last 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, whatever that number is. Again, added value from a reporting standpoint to be able to match back to those users and be able to really tell the holistic story about how well this campaign's performing and what it's done for your business and you as a marketer. So again, trying to simplify things, the marketing realm and has gotten very complex. There's a ton of places to spend money and try to advertise and market your business. We feel that truly Brand Amplifier is a simplistic way to do that across these important platforms that are, a lot of our core customers and potential customers are spending a lot of time on as they're searching, surfing, and socializing online. So hopefully this was beneficial. Hopefully it stirred a little more interest and you have a better understanding of what the overall strategy is. Again, I would recommend reaching out to your digital marketing consultant to get a little more information, or at the very least, run a targeted email marketing database to get a sense of what that audience really looks like in your target area. With that being said, I'm going to pass it back to Katie to close us out.
All right, thanks so much, Paul. And that's actually a really great segue. So if you go to the next slide, that'll get us started into our Q&A section. But if you are super curious about what this can do for your business, how it applies to your business, you want your digital expert to run the addressable email tool for you, go ahead and click yes to that poll, because they will be able to have a really customized, specific conversation with you during that free assessment, and they'll be able to go into a ton of detail. But in the meantime, this takes us into what I call the audio portion of our program. This is when we're going to get into the Q&A. So that poll will stay on your screen for the duration of the event. You'll hear our voices, but you shouldn't see our faces at this point. But from now on, just sit back. We're going to get into the questions. So if you haven't entered a question into the question box, go ahead and do so now. We have our two experts who are here on the call with us today. we have Paul, who you heard from, and then we have Stephanie, who introduced herself at the beginning. Stephanie is intimately aware of this product. She helped build it. So I'm really excited for the insight and the information that these two can give us. So while we're waiting, as others are going to the question box, I see a bunch of different questions coming in. Let's go ahead and give folks just a second to get their questions in. Can Paul, Stephanie, talk to us a little bit about exactly what is engagement or awareness? You know, it could be called a couple of different things, and then why businesses should care about this specifically.
Sure, I'll be happy to talk about that. So engagement is when, you know, somebody recognizes and interacts with your ad, and that interaction can happen in many various formats. Somebody could, you know, see a post on social and they could comment on it, they could share it, they might go to your website, fill out a form, you know, call the business, potentially even walk into the business if it's applicable. So there's lots of different types of engagements. This is really critical because, you know, what you're wanting to do is not only expand your visibility, but also make sure that, you know, you're able to be responsive to people that are interested in your brand. And what we're trying to do is give an array of different ways that they can do that and make sure that, you know, you continue to get in front of them, and, you know, as they interact with your brand, you know, you're ready to meet them where they're at, so that when they're ready to buy, you know, they can, you can engage with them in that way.
That's a really great explanation. Thank you. And so then to sort of like piggyback on top of that. So we're talking about like businesses in general and why engagement matters for them. But we've had a couple of questions around how this specifically could apply for B2B. Paul gave a lot of really awesome examples that were B2C, which is a ton of what our customer base is. But we know we also have some B2B businesses out there. So can you tell us a little bit, Stephanie, about how this technology can apply to them?
I mean, sure. I think that, you know, the idea is that we're using that targeted, you know, email, that tool to really identify those users. And so I think with B2B, it's all about, you know, really understanding like who is that exact right audience that you want to get in front of. And then through our tool, being able to locate those individuals and then engage with them. So getting in their email box, creating that awareness. Being able to, you know, showcase, you know, your product or service wherever they might be. So they might be, you know, doing research on YouTube, or they might be, you know, say on LinkedIn, or, you know, maybe it's just even in terms of, you know, being on social, because what we're doing is we're actually taking that data from the list of users that we found, and we're finding those people on those platforms. So we're providing that data so that we can match those users and really get in front of them wherever they're spending time. So I do think it is definitely possible to do that in a powerful way.
Yeah, and just one thing to add too on that note, you know, within the target email marketing database, not only do we have those consumer emails, but we also have access to business emails where we could drill down to specific types of businesses that you'd want to target, decision makers within those businesses, et cetera. So I think there's definitely an opportunity to do that within this campaign as well.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. All right, so let's go to some attendee questions now. So we've got folks throwing in some stuff. They're asking about budgeting. So how do we come up with a budget for something like this? Stephanie, would you want to take that one?
Sure. So how we come up with the budget is we have essentially a tool that we use where we take the number of users in that audience, and that really informs the number of impressions that we want to deliver across all of the various different channels that we're deploying your campaign. So with a little bit of data science, that is how we ultimately come up with your budget. So that's why I would say, like Paul has mentioned, definitely get with your rep, go through that process, just, you know, like to, you know, sort of explore and understand like, what is my potential audience size? And then, you know, what channels are we going to deploy this across? Do we want to, you know, include video or not, etc. And then through that process, we have that calculator tool that will ultimately make the best budget recommendation for your goal.
Okay, great. And I feel like a very natural next question when you're talking about budget is you then want to talk about performance. So tell us, what are the metrics that we need to pay attention to when we're measuring customer engagement and when we're looking at brand amplification reporting?
Well, we really look at it through 3 different buckets, right? We want to understand like what level of engagements you're getting. So, obviously we report on that and all the different types of engagements that you're going to be getting, because obviously some engagements are more valuable than others. So, for example, I'm sure as a business, you're going to be looking at like, hey, a form fill might be better than somebody that just simply comments on one of my posts, right? So we weight those within our algorithms. So I think reporting wise, we're going to be looking at, what are all the different engagements? What are the level of engagement we're getting from each of the channels? But also, then what is the brand impact that we've been able to make? So we're going to be measuring to really understand, like how much have we increased the searches that people are doing for your business? And then lastly, and this is, I think, so important, is really to be able to, as a business, to provide us with that transaction data so that we can do a look back over the last, say, 30 days and in a given period within the campaign and understand from those people that we specifically know that we've sent emails to and that we specifically targeted, how many of those actually converted and what was the value of the transactions so that we can, sort of look at it across the spectrum.
Really good insight. Thank you so much for that. I think we have time for just one more question. When we're talking about performance and results in general, we had a question come in around what's the expectation for when we can start to see results from brand amplification?
Oh, that's a good question. I think, again, we know that this campaign is focused on really driving awareness and engagement, and that starts right away, right? So that is something that, can begin immediately. We will, when we will be able to actually like say, look at the data to say, did we match sales to any of the people that we targeted? I think typically we can begin that at day 35 because we want to do a 30-day look back. But in terms of when will we, start to see that performance, I think that can be revealed, within right away, like as people start getting served impressions, and ideally, right, we're serving them a lot of impressions, enough that we're going to create the awareness that's going to drive that lift that's going to lead to those conversions when somebody is, engaging with like doing research and really getting into the stage where they're ready to buy.
Yeah, and just to add to that quickly, Katie, one thing, this a branding campaign should be something that's a part of your overall strategy, right? And if you can do it, it should be done consistently. We do ask for a minimum of a 3-month at a time campaign, at least at a minimum, right? We want to make sure that we're saturating that audience as best as we can. We're getting enough frequency and enough visibility in front of as many of those folks that we've identified in the target email marketing audience as we can. Then you also need to keep in mind our targeted email marketing audience that updates every quarter. So after that initial three-month campaign, the next 3 months there's a chance we may have new folks that fit within the criteria that you're looking to target. In addition to that, keeping in mind we're setting up the lookalike audiences and the additional ad groups targeting the demographics, behaviors, and interests of folks on those platforms we talked about who may have not been in our initial database as well. So ultimately, from a brand standpoint, in my opinion, it's kind of a consistent campaign that you want to run throughout the year. But again, I know that everyone's situation is different, and so it's something you should talk to your digital marketing consultant about.
Perfect. Thank you guys so much for the info and the addition, Paul. Again, we want to answer everyone's questions, but we are actually up at time. If you have not selected yes to that poll, go ahead and do that. You can get a customized assessment with your digital expert. We can run the email tool, run budget proposal tool. We can look at a bunch of different options for you. So go ahead and click yes, and we hope to see you again at the next one. Thank you so much.